Hello, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you guys are good. Hope you are having a great day or night, no matter where you are. Okay, so if you're just finding us, hello, welcome. We have been talking about Lily and Jack Sullivan missing out of Lansdowne Station in Nova Scotia. They were reported missing Friday, May 2nd, around 10 o'clock in the morning. There's been no sign of them since. Now, if you have not seen my past coverage on this case, please go back and check that out. And let's get right into it. Before we get started, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Make sure you click that notification bell so you're notified of any future videos that we do. All right, so let's get right into this. Okay, the first thing I want to mention, and the reason that I have the property pulled up here is because clearly you can see that there was an issue staying clean, organized, taken care of. It just goes to show you the mindset of the parents. Okay, this is their property. This is what it looks like. Here we are. But the first thing I want to talk about is Daniel Martell, who is the stepfather to Jack and Lily, but is the bio dad to Baby Meadow. A friend drove him to the Child Protective Services office where he asked permission to see his baby. Now, here's the question of the day. Did CPS take custody of the baby? We haven't been given confirmation either way, but let's just take a look at a scenario, shall we? So it was stated in the beginning that the reason that mom left the property with the baby was because there's drug paraphernalia found inside the home and in the vehicle. And the mother was notified by CPS that if you don't take the baby and leave, we will take the baby. At least that's what's been stated. Law enforcement has not corroborated that at all. However, that was what was stated. So everybody just assumed that that's what happened and that mother had the baby. But if mom had the baby, right? And the father was ordered, which is Daniel, was ordered by Child Protective Services to not be able to see that child whatsoever, then Daniel would have been notified by Child Protective Services that he is not allowed around his children for however long of a period of time. Now, Daniel has not stated that he has had that notification. So if he hasn't had if he has not been directly contacted by Child Protective Services and told, listen, you cannot see your baby for whatever reasons, then I don't know if we can all sit here and say, well, that's the reason. Because he could have just easily gone to the where the mother is staying and demanded to see his child, right? Wanted to see his child, whatever. But that's not the case. He had a friend, and we were told that there was no communication between Daniel and Malaya. So for him to ask his friend to drive to CPS, I'm assuming, now this is just a theory again, this has not been confirmed. I'm assuming that it's because he knows, because he would be notified if Child Protective Services took custody of the baby. He would have to be notified as being the biological father of the child. So that would be reason enough for him to get a ride to CPS to want to see his baby. Because think about this, if Baby Meadow was in the care of the mother, he was not directly notified that he was not allowed to be around the child, then what reason would he have to go to CPS to ask to see his child in the first place? There wouldn't be any reason whatsoever. But if CPS took the baby because of, let's say, neglect, then he would have known that and he would have had to go to CPS to ask to see the baby. Do you guys see what I'm saying with that? Now, If this is what the outside of the home looks like, I could only imagine what the inside of the home looks like. Okay. And if it looks anything like the outside, there is a very good chance that CPS did take custody of that child because it is clearly a neglectful household, I will say. Now, I know all cases are different, and I know this took place in Nova Scotia, Canada, which is not the United States. But here we've seen where a child or children come up missing from a home, and that home is uh, pretty dumpy and not taken care of. And the children and the home both appear to show signs of neglect, that the remaining children are often removed by Child Protective Services. Now, we saw that in the Summer Wells case. Summer went missing. The house was the way it was. There were signs of neglect from the home and from the children, and CPS took the boys away. So it's not a far stretch to think that maybe CPS stepped in, took custody of the baby, and that's why Daniel went there, was to request to see his daughter. And his request was denied. He was told no. But again, he has not had any contact with the mother. Now, again, let's talk about this mother, because I know there's a lot of shade right now on just the stepdad. But mom told us the story in the beginning. She claimed to be there when it happened. They came up with this story together, and she up and leaves. Now, I don't know if she is trying to not I don't know if she is trying to put all the responsibility of everything that's gone down, or everything, how the situation is at home, on Daniel, and she just doesn't want to take any responsibility for her part of it. I don't know if it's the drug paraphernalia being found in the house, and she again is trying to dismiss any personal responsibility she has and place all the blame on the stepdad. I don't know. But for whatever reason, she up and left. And the only thing she's done since then is go on Facebook, not to post about her missing kids, not to talk about her missing kids, but to update her Facebook status. And then she deactivated her account once again. Now, if you guys have not seen my past videos I have done on this case, please make sure you go and check those out. There's a lot of information. Again, just theories, speculation, things that have been going on out here in this case. But I do think it's important to think about this, because it would make sense to me, just off what we've seen, that CPS would in fact take custody of the baby. And they would not come out and tell us that, because it's a child protective issue and it's not the public's business, if you know what I'm saying. So it's not like they're going to come out and say, hey, well, yeah, we took the baby. Just not how it works. And again, mom's angle, I'm not really understanding mom's angle here, because I think she's just as much to blame for whatever happened to these babies. And again, we still don't know. But with the party that happened that night, with the grandmother saying the last time they were actually seen was Thursday night, with the story from the neighbors, with the paraphernalia being found, with the state of the home, with even the story. Let's just look at the story that mom and stepdad told. And mom said they were both sleeping at 10 a.m. and the kids snuck out. Just by that story alone, I mean, that's neglectful. Your 4 and 6-year-old are up wandering around doing God knows what. And especially with the state your house is in, and both parents are sleeping. That seems very irresponsible to me, very neglectful. So I'm sure CPS saw it the same way. I'm sure investigators looked at it the same exact way. Now, I don't believe the story that they told. I don't think that's how things went down. I think I think whatever happened to them happened prior to Friday. I think that's why the absences on Wednesday and Thursday. But again, that's just my opinion and my speculation. But my point is that just by their own stories, they neglected the children. So again, there's pretty good chance that CPS has stepped in and taken that baby. Now again, we don't know for a fact, but I'd say it's a pretty good chance. Now, I do want to make a clarification from my last video that I did this morning about the pen. I, it looks like a pen, the pen that we talked about in that video. Now, that could be the start of a cabin, like people say. It could be the start of a cabin. It could be, I heard so many different things. Somebody said, listen, they have chickens. It might be like a cockfighting, like people do that out there. You don't know. But I had different theories on it. And what I was stating in that video wasn't that they kept the kids like in that pen to hide them away or anything like that. I just didn't get a good feeling when I seen it. That's all. I got a bad feeling from that. And then when we looked at the fort that was supposedly the children's and what was inside of there, I was very alarmed. Very alarmed. And I think anybody would be, because the one thing you don't see in that fort is any sign of children. And that's just my opinion. But I did want to mention that. Now, all right. So please let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I will see you all next time.